Hey guys, good evening. Here's a question for you. What do you carry in your pick case? Or rather, which are the few most common picks that you use? Having said that, I will present you now with what's inside my one. Hopefully this will be also nice information for newbie pickers which would get familiar with what maybe is a good idea to carry around on your everyday kit. Let's start with the odd one out. This one is a Southport dimple flag. This is the standard one that comes with the kit. I polished it a little bit, rounded the edges so that it doesn't scratch if there's any warding. And then one of the other ones I have filed down a little bit and flattened it. Differences are not really that big, but actually these two flags, they get me in pretty much every dimple log that I have ever played with. So for me, picking dimple logs, these two heads are quite enough. For everyday picks, if I have to attack any log, I use mostly either this one or this one. They are both from the Hook set and I really like the shape of the handle. It's really comfortable in the hand. The material, the metal is quite strong. I don't know if it's a stainless steel. Still, it's quite rigid, so it definitely takes a lot of abuse. As you can see, it's a standard shape of the head. This one is a little bit lower than this one, so depending on how much space I have in the lock, I use either one. Another pick that I absolutely adore is this pick here. It's from Sparrows. I'm not sure about which was the model. I think it's something from the Monstrum. Looks a little bit like the offset hybrid. But it's not, it's more or less like an offset diamond, but not that drastic. Very rigid, it also can accept a lot of abuse. I really like this pick. The only thing that I don't like, Sparrows, if you're watching for whatever reason, I think that this is actually too flexible. I need to think of how I can make it a little bit harder, because it sometimes when I squeeze it, it just bends and I don't really find that comfortable, but doesn't matter. This one here is a homebrew, not my one. This one is actually made from Mr. Q from Berlin. I acquired it from Adrian Weber. I had the stupidity while polishing it. I ground a little bit of the head. It was a little bit higher and very useful in a lot of logs. I really hate myself for doing that, but nevertheless it's still very useful. It's very rigid and quite a slim pick, so I actually use it a lot in tight cases, in tight locks. This one is just your run-of-the-mill snowman, you know, very useful for any wafer lock. I can pick a lot of them with this one. Don't care for the brand, just standard snowman. Quite useful. So these are the few picks that I usually carry around with me, and they can get me into, let's say, pretty much every standard everyday lock that I can find. Here are some picks that I still carry them around with me, but I don't use them that often. This one, it's nothing special. It's this really strange shape. But what I like about this one, it seems like if I'm not able to get with any of my standard picks, this one usually does the job. I don't know how, but is it the shape? Is it just because it's a little bit longer? Don't know. It's a really useful pick, and also I can use it as a flag to pick some of the dimple locks. So it's a nice addition to the collection. Another one of the Hook set is this slim one. Although it's strong, you can break it after some abuse. Still, I like it if it's a tight keyway. This one can actually go in very easily and it can lift some of the pins. I don't use it that much anymore, but still for tight place it's quite an okay pick. this little half diamond here, I use this one for one particular reason, and I carry it for one particular reason only. If I have small keyways that are dimple picks and the flag doesn't work, this one does the job. I usually don't like the half diamond for normal picking. I don't know, I just do not feel it comfortable. So this is basically, for me, it's a small flag type, so dimple pick. And then I have my 3 rakes. So I'm not really the raker that much, but I do try with some locks, it works very well. So I have the worm, I have the triple pick, and here I have the city rake. Quite useful, I do carry them around just to try and hit some of the locks. And my personal opinion, if you don't have the proper tension range, you will not be able to pick the lock. About half of the picking, well, maybe not half, but close to it, is finding the proper tension range. That's why I have more than these, but let's say these are the ones that I most commonly use depending on the lock that I will attempt to open. Let's start with, again, the odd one out. This is a dimple tension wrench, goes very well with any of the flags. You just insert either the thicker part or the thinner part, which one is more comfortable depending on the dimple lock. And yeah, it's quite useful. Here's another oddity. This piece of smashed wire is really thick. I also use it for dimple picks, but well, not that often. But if I need to exert really heavy tension on a lock, if it allows it, this is the pick you have. I mean, this one, even if I tried, I can't bend it. This is really strong material. Another lock that another tension range that I really like is this one. I don't remember from where it was. I think it was one of my first ones. But here it's really sturdy material, and although it's a twist, it does not deprive me from getting enough feedback, and if the keyway allows it, I also use it quite a lot. So it's a really nice tension wrench. Here's one homebrew here. It's a very tiny, let's say, pry bar in comparison. Here's one from Mad Bob. If you see here, the difference is quite big. So this one I use for tiny keyways where you can actually tension from the top, and yeah, it's not the thickest one, so it fits in a wide variety of locks. Then I have some of Mad Bob's brew, the 1mm and 1.2mm, quite useful, nothing special about them, but they are quite useful. Another tension wrench, also quite useful. This is, I think, 0.8mm, so also quite useful. Actually, this particular one, there's a crack here in the metal from overuse, so I expect soon to be bye-bye with this particular one, but I have a similar one, so it's not really a big problem. This one. This is a tubular tension wrench. You have some combs here, and you have this part, which is also a type of pry bar, and you have here something that I can only say it's a screwdriver, but to be quite honest, I have no idea what's the deal with this one. For a lot of tubular locks, this is quite useful. However, I need to make one homebrew from this one because here the spacing for some of the locks, this is too big. It needs to be about 1 millimeter shorter, then you can tension pretty much every tubular lock. This one is a bit too big. That's the only thing that I do not like, but other than that, it's quite comfortable to pick with this particular one. And then I have some I've actually no idea what's this kind of material, but there seems to be some tubing, maybe music wire, I have no idea. they're just smashed at the end and they're made flat. And these toothpicks are actually quite useful. Friend of mine, Antonio, he gave them to me as a present, and I'm really grateful. These are some really nice tension wrenches. So I hope it was not boring, but let's say this here is my main kit, which I use for pretty much everyday play with the locks. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, keep it legal, and I would hope to see some of your kits. It would be interesting. Leave it in the comments below. I will be gladly looking at what you guys use. Thanks for watching, guys. See you.